And it's recording. All right, guys. Welcome to Minority Report. I'm one of your hosts, one of the three. I'm Kelly.
Yeah. You can call me Anthony. I go by Anthony.
Okay, first of all, since when? I'm not going to call you Anthony.
First of all, that is my professional handle.
All right, okay, Anthony. But I'm Gabby. I'm coming from
Gabby?
Florida. What?
Is that your birth certificate?
Is that what I said? Son of a gun.
Oh, wow.
Bring up legality off the bat. Wow.
All right, so this is week one of our podcast, and we're all really good friends. We've known each other for a while, and we just decided to do something new, try something out, see how you guys like it. So, topic of this week is astrology, and I want to know why everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people are so gung-ho about astrology. Like, what makes it so prominent in certain groups? Like, why do people believe it? Where are the facts behind it? So what do you guys think?
For me, I don't know. I think it's a lot of like copping out when people blame, oh, excuse me, I was running late. I'm a Leo or whatever it is. I don't know which sign runs late. But like I'm not a huge fan of that mentality of like, oh, I'm sorry I cut you off. I'm a, whatever, Sagittarius. Like, I think that's stupid.
Right. What about you, Carl? What do you think?
I'm gonna say I have mixed emotions. I think I do agree with what you guys are saying, because I think a lot of people use it in the wrong way, and they'll take it out of context and use it for every little excuse. Like, that's just how I am. And sometimes it's just like, no, you're just a shitty person. That's all it is. But to a degree, I do agree with some things in astrology. Like, I don't know if I agree with it, but you can't deny that some of the things are spot on. You know what I mean? Like,
so what's yours? Like, give us an example from your own, like, sign and reasons that you agree that your sign describes you.
Just in the description, because I'm a Virgo, and
I thought he was gonna say a virgin.
We all know that's not true.
Yeah.
Whoa, all right. All right. That's a whole nother segment. All right. That's all. We're not getting into that. But yeah, I'm a Virgo. I don't know. Virgos are just very known. We're very selective about people that we're around, who we let in our lives. That's like, as you guys know, like I know a lot of people, but I don't hang out with a lot of people. Like, I keep my circle very small. Like, I've known you two forever. Kelly, you know Griff. Me and Griff have been friends. Like, we don't really talk that much no more. We just recently started talking again. But we've known each other since like 5th grade. And I've had the same circle since like 5th grade. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. We're just really selective in that aspect of like who we let into our lives. There's just a lot of little things. And Gabby, like, you remember Penny, of course. She's a Virgo, and me and her connected a lot too. But like, there were certain things that we related on, because she was just like, you're such a Virgo, like in the things I would say, and like I knew what she meant because she's also a Virgo. So I don't know. I can't really put my finger on it right now, but it's just like little things. Like,
so are you
it's in characteristics? Characteristics, I would say.
So are you an active, like, horoscope reader? Like, you read your horoscope and go, like, that's my day? Or are you like, no, that's
no, I don't. I'm not active. I'm not like checking it every day. No, not at all. But there was a point in my life where I was, I'm not saying I was checking it every day, but I would read up on it. You know what I mean? Like, I was more involved with it. But I mean, then it got to the point where it's like, I mean, there's really no point to keep reading up on it. It's like, your life's going to go how your life's going to go. You know what I mean? But it was just interesting at the time to just do the comparison, like, like, I am really like feeling like this, or like, like, this is happening in my life. You know what I mean? This is how I view things. So it was just interesting at the time, and, it caught my attention. But
yeah,
I'm not every day like reading.
Okay. So I've got, so you said like there's some things that are spot on. So I had posted this on Facebook. I had this same question, and I got a ton of feedback. And reading through that feedback, somebody commented something that really stuck. And so what she said was that basically, although the horoscopes and like, you know what I'm saying, your quote of the day or whatever, those are all things that are basically, they're general. You know what I'm saying? It's not specifically pointed towards one sign or one person or somebody who's born at this time or whatever, and this moon phase, whatever it may be. But it's just, go ahead.
I read that, and you know what it made me think of? Do you guys remember that there was two things I want to correlate with that? It's, you guys remember that old show used to come on like basic cable? Because like growing up, I didn't really have cable, so I used to have like whatever these basic channels were. There's this one dude called Crossing Over with John Edwards, I think his name was. And he would like have a crowd over, and like he was pretty much like a median or something like that. And he would, you know, talk, oh, I'm getting this type, I'm getting this name. Does that mean anything to somebody? And then somebody would stand up and like, you know, he would just say things that you can pretty much just say out in a room. And like, if you have like 100 people in a room, somebody's going to relate to it. It's like, and then South Park did an episode on that, like making fun of him, like, and then pretty much he came to their town, whatever. And then I think it was like Kyle or somebody from South Park was just like, he's not psychic. He's just saying general things, you know what I mean? And from when I read that statement on your Facebook, that's what made me think of. I'm like, and which I can see that to a certain extent. That's why I say I think it's a little bit of both. But yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, because it was funny because you could just like go out to like a crowd and just be like, I'm getting the name Lisa. What does Lisa mean to somebody? And then somebody would be like, oh, that was my aunt or whatever. And they'd be like,
see, I feel like at that point we're reaching another realm of belief. Like, because I mean, really, ultimately, if we're boiling down this current conversation, we're talking about belief. Astrology is a belief. You know, believing in medium belief.
And so I agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
It's a different realm. I mean, it's within the same like spectrum as beliefs, and like it's in the same spectrum as well as far as like outlandish beliefs. Like for me, like astrology and mediums and stuff, personally, I feel like that is an outlandish belief. And so like when I think about astrology, I myself, I've read my own horoscope and like, oh my God, that's so similar to what I had experienced or like what's going on in my life. But then I've also read like the rest of this, you know, the horoscopes for the rest of the signs and realized all of this applies to me in some aspect of my life. And so I feel like maybe astrology in general is not something that's kind of garbage. I think that maybe there's a market that was infiltrated and became garbage. And so I think what it currently is when it's fed to the masses, I think that someone is exploiting that belief in a way that's not healthy or not, you know, believable.
And I can kind of agree with that because I know I've actually worked with somebody who was born on the same day as me, February 10th, 1992. And hey, you know him, Tom Cruise.
Wow.
Oh,
no, I don't know Tom Cruise.
You guys work together? You guys stationed together?
No, not work together. We were, school together. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was about to say.
Although we are similar in ways, we're completely opposite, you know? Mm-hmm.
And then Kelly, you know, too, because like I said, the same thing with Jeff, because Jeff's also a Virgo. Like, so, but like you can tell, like we're
completely different.
Yeah. Like we're a lot of the same too. I think a lot of it too is just the environment. I think that can be a whole other topic too. But like I think also it's a part of your environment and where you grew up in. Because I think core, because me and Jeff do have a lot of similarities in the way we think and how we view things.
Right.
But just our paths that we took were different. But I know Jeff, and Jeff and like we know each other, and the core character of Jeff, I know Jeff, we're similar in that point.
So with the core characteristics, you guys
exactly. That's what I'm saying. It comes back to characteristics. That's just like so, Gabby, you're a Cancer. I've dated.
I know I'm not a Cancer.
Wait, you're not. Wait. Oh no. What are you?
I'm a
Gemini. Oh, yeah, okay, Gemini. Yeah, my sister and my niece are Geminis, and they're the same certain, well, I won't say they're not the same, but they are, because Geminis are known to have split personalities, and Gabby knows she can. Gabby knows she could be a whole different person.
Oh, absolutely. No, I like, and that's the thing where like I'm not against astrology in itself. I think that if we were to go back into Aristotle times and review what was written and what was accepted and talked about, taught about during those times, I think I relate more to that version of Gemini versus what it is now. Because I mean, currently,
can you elaborate? Can you elaborate on that? Like,
I think she means. I think what she's trying to say is basically been watered down. You know what I'm saying? Throughout. So maybe back in the day, it actually there was. You know what I'm saying? Some facts or something that they can. You know what I'm saying, show you to prove this or that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's kind of just.
It's an excuse. It's a it's a tissue that you can toss aside and be like, oh, not my problem, and just kind of toss away. And that's like, for me, no, like I believe personally, like in my personal life, in my friendships, in my relationships, my family, I and even with work, I believe in personal accountability. Like if you mess up, if you take a wrong step, I believe in personal accountability. So when I come across people that are like, oh, I'm sorry I was an asshole that day, it's because I'm, a whatever. You immediately, for me, I shut down. That's probably a flaw on my side. It's like, at that point I'm done. And
so you don't necessarily like disagree or not believe in.
I disagree with the current mass media portrayal of astrology. I don't disagree with the fundamentals and the science behind astrology. I disagree with the way that it's presented today.
Exactly. So you don't disagree with astrology at all. Like you believe in astrology, but you just don't like how people are using it as an excuse.
Using it and portraying it, being fed to other people. I think there's a difference between science and pseudoscience. And I think astrology, I mean, I'm not a scientist, but I feel like astrology could be scientific if we really put some like thought and resource and everything else into it. However, now it's something it's more pseudoscience. So it's more of like, belief based instead of, hey, I do have personal accountability. I do have this recognition of my life and your life. And so I'm not going to blame the stars for what I did 5 minutes ago. Like, it's just, I agree in some aspects. I completely disagree in others.
Okay. Now with what you just said, I completely agree with that. And the fact that like, all right, so me, I'm a strong believer in like, if you can't prove it scientifically, then I'm not going to believe it. You know what I'm saying? So I agree. That's how I am. If you can't sit me down and scientifically show me facts as to why this happens, or I'm not going to believe it.
I agree.
So with astrology, that's kind of how I am. Like the general statements, of course, there's pieces that I can relate here and there, but I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm definitely an Aquarius because this, that. But one of my friends commented on that thread on Facebook and told me what he mentioned. He said that, I mean, scientifically, we're 90+% made of water, and obviously the moon and its phases affects the tide. He's like, so why wouldn't the moon and its phases affect us and how we react to certain things? Which had me thinking, I'm like, yo, that actually right there was some science behind it. You know what I'm saying? So it got me a little bit contorted as to whether or not I want to lean more towards believing it or not. So, yeah.
No, I definitely agree with that. Like when it comes down to like, I mean, even if like, I'm not against relearning, like just because I learned something and then 5 years from now someone proves my thought process or my education wrong, I'm not against relearning. Like I'm a very big supporter of forward thinking. So like if I'm wrong today, that's okay, and if I'm right today, even better. But it doesn't mean that it's not going to change in the next, minute, day, year. Like, we don't know. And so when it comes to astrology, I think that at one point in time, we did have a grasp on how the stars, the moon, the tides, gravity, and everything else affected us. I think that at one point we were in tune to that. I think as technology grew, we lost that in tune sync that we had with the rest of those things. And we are now relying too much on media, technology, social environment, civilization, and we're just so far apart from what it could have been. So I think at this point, anybody from our age, unless we go back to the beginning, that whole like astrology aspect of like a thought process as to why we do things is lost. I think we're so far deep into technology, social, civilization that we have to go back. Is like my thing. And so unless you have that knowledge, just sit down. Like,
true. So now with that, do you guys believe that certain signs are more compatible with other signs?
This is an excellent question. Go ahead, Carl, because I have a great rebuttal.
I think yes. I think I'm not saying that certain signs have to be together, certain signs can't be together. But I definitely think that certain signs take more work. I think certain signs are more like oil and water, than just both the water together. You know what I mean? And that's my take. So,
and see, I can agree with that, but at the same time, I feel like your sign is not the excuse for why.
You think it's the person, not the sign.
Exactly. I think it's your personality. Like your sign doesn't make your personality. You make your personality. Where you were grown, where you came from.
Environment, yeah.
That's what molds your personality.
So that's the second time that's been brought up. So we might have to get into that too, about like how growing up, your environment that you grew up in affects who you are.
Well, let me give my rebuttal real quick to that.
Go ahead.
Let me. All right. So, I had taken that test, right, out of the blue, like bored out of my mind. What signs work together, right? Like I was engaged at the time, and I curious, out of morbid curiosity, does the person I'm engaged to, their sign match with my sign? And I took it, and it said that absolutely. Like there was some negatives, and then I took another test, and they both said the opposite thing. Absolutely yes, absolutely no. But then now my wife, she was in school. She had to take this personality test, and it's a scientific test. I forget the name of it, but your results are INJ and like some other letters, and it's like, are you a motivator? Are you a instigator? Like what is your core behind everything you do? And so she had to do that to figure out her best placement in her field. And so she had this like free trial, like they gave her that trial to take that test, and I took it. And immediately the results I got were, I'm prior military, right? Marine Corps. The immediate first job for my results of that test was I should be military. The second job after that was I should be in law. If I'm not in military, I should be in law, which is amazing because I was in military. Now I'm in law. And then after that is you should be a manager. I was a manager of a retail store. And so this thing had just ultimately just nailed it. Everything that I could possibly be, I had hit every time. And then so there is also an option to figure out who should you be with in order for it to cohesively work in a positive manner. And her and I did not match at all. It was terrible. It was, if her and I were placed into a room, we were not going to see, eye to eye. We were not going to do these things. The benefit was that my weaknesses were her strengths. Her weaknesses were my strengths. So that's a benefit if you are able to allow both of these massive egos to come down and learn. And I think Carl's a great testament to where those egos got in the way at the beginning of our relationship to the point to where we had to separate. It wasn't going to work. It wasn't until we took those egos down did we realize we could teach each other, we could learn, we could support each other in a way that the other person just lacked. So now being married, like we've been married for about 1.5 years now, And it's been amazing, like allowing those egos to fall and those weaknesses and strengths to lift up the other person has been phenomenal. So when it comes to the astrology thing, that's another tick against astrology, because now we have a personality test, we have a workman's test, a relationship test. It's all combined in. It took me like 40 minutes to take that test. And then when you lay it out, you guys are either going to be the greatest couple in the world or you're going to murder each other. Those are the only options for me and her.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to the point to where we had to separate or we had to pick each other up. And so eventually we chose to pick each other up. And so I take that as a scientific fact, just based on when she took her test, it nailed every occupation she's ever excelled in, ever been interested in. And it did the same for me. And then exactly what happened as far as relationships go. We fell apart or we built each other up. Those are the only options. There's no mediation. It's literally shut up, let's go. I know better here, let's go. And so, I mean, that's just, for me, it's just another tick against astrology.
I agree. Because I'm not one for, I mean, I guess I could say I'm old fashioned when I say, if you want it to work, you'll make it work. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think compatibility, I don't think that's really an issue. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're really into, not saying that you have to change who you are to be with somebody, but if you really like somebody, you'll find out what he or she is interested in. You'll kind of learn about that topic, even if it doesn't interest you. You'll learn about that topic just so that you can show him or her that, boom, I made the effort. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
to find out something that you're interested in and learn about it. So,
what are your words, Carl? Let's hear them.
Only thing I have to say is I don't necessarily see how I don't see it as a hit against astrology, because I don't consider astrology and personality the same thing. Going back to what I said about me and Jeff, astrology, like if you look at astrology wise and our characteristics, yes, we're the same. Personality wise, we're completely different.
Right.
So that's one thing I have to say about that. I don't see how it could be a hit, because
it may be
more like
my own personal ignorance. Like, I'm just not an astrology person, so it may be like personal ignorance.
No, it's not to do with it. It's just, I mean, like, just because, like you said, it's a personality test.
Okay, so now that we're there, so what do you consider personality? What you know what I'm saying? What is a person's personality? How would you
to me, I would describe the personality like how me and Jeff, like Jeff grew up with the personality of, I'm not going to put Jeff, but you know Jeff.
Yes.
We're not, we're not the same. I think it just, like, I think that'll be in the discussion of the environment people grew up in. You know what I mean? I think at the end of the day, people are going to be, at the end of the day, their core selves, who they are. But as we know, people aren't always themselves. They're who they think they should be. So, and I think they might portray a personality, you know what I mean? And like, I don't know, it just, to me, is different because Jeff is who he is, I am who I am, you know what I mean? But like I said, there's a lot of similarities between me and Jeff that I see that I see in, I guess, other Virgos, I guess, quote unquote. But personality wise, we're not the same, you know what I mean?
So have you ever experienced meeting the perfect match for your sign and it not be the perfect match?
Like talking about like dating wise, or just talking about like just in general meeting somebody that's perfect?
In general, let's go general, yeah.
No, actually, all of my, I would say, well, for one, I haven't really dated that many people, but no, I haven't met, I guess, my quote unquote perfect sign. I'm gonna say I haven't met, but I haven't dated them.
Yeah.
And I think that goes into like the opposites attract kind of thing, to where, just because someone is like you doesn't mean you necessarily want to be with them or should be with them. You can have everything in common with that person and not have like an intimate attraction or you guys want to be together. Like how you said, Alex said everything that you did and vice versa, like your personalities, and that works. That's good,
Yeah.
But
well,
actually,
if you didn't know
actually looking like astrology wise, probably, well, yeah, exactly. Like you and Alex. So like you and Alex Did you say or was it you and your ex, or were you and Alex when you looked up
Me and
the
Alex.
so astrology wise, you guys weren't a match, right?
Yeah.
And that's with me and a lot of my exes, and well, even in my curses, but like if you look astrology wise, we're not a match at all. We're like, it's not that we're not a match at all, but it's on the scale of what would be your easiest compatibility match to your most, that will take the most work.
Yeah.
I would say out of majority of my relationships, even current one, I'm always at the point of this person's going to be the most work for you. Like you guys aren't necessarily compatible, but you can make it work if you really want to, but it's going to be your hardest compared to going with this person. So me personally, I don't really have experience being with somebody that's my perfect match.
Yeah. All right, Kelly, what about you, man? What are your thoughts so far?
See, I've never done that whole compatibility thing. So I don't really know what sign is my perfect match per se.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what mine is, but I know what it says.
All I know is like from the majority consensus, I guess you could say, a lot of people say Aquariuses are nonchalant.
Yeah, versatile.
Right. So, I mean, I guess I'd agree with me being kind of versatile, but as far as nonchalant, I don't know. Carl knows better than everybody else. I go through shit just like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? I overthink just like everybody else. I care just like everybody else. I may not show it like everybody else, but I'm still going through it. So
I mean, like personally, like dealing with you, like on a friendship level, like obviously we met through Carl, right? So, like, all right, you quiet down. But like, all right, Carl meets, like he met you years before me, and then he meets me, and like, oh my God, so excited about it, and so him and I become super close, and then he brings up Kelly, and like I'm like, you know what? For me, I'm a very closed off person. I don't like people. I don't like to meet people. It was very hard for me and Carl to be friends at first, and then it was like a light bulb, and like all of a sudden we clicked, you know. And so, and then him introducing you into my life, very difficult for me personally. It has nothing to do against you. It's just me. I don't like to do that. It takes a lot for me to do that. It takes a lot of energy. And so, all right, meeting you, and then like, all right, so, you know, Carl wants us to be friends. So but like overall, I would say, like, just from my perspective, like you and I have never like individually hung out or had those in-depth conversations without him being there. And so, but we were able to like respect each other and divulge into each other's lives in a way that was comfortable for someone like me. So I would say you're not just versatile, you're definitely comfortable. You're someone that, with someone, like you're dealing with someone that's very difficult, a very abrasive personality, very closed off, but you were very welcoming to that kind of personality, not in a way that was like cheesy or movie style, just more of like, stop being like closed off, stop doing that. So, I mean, I would definitely agree with your sign as far as that goes, just from my experience meeting you from a third person coming in.
Okay.
And something that goes like deeper into like the signs and stuff. If you look at the characteristics of signs, a lot of signs share the same traits. So a lot of signs will be similar and like have the same idea, like oh, Virgos and so are like this, you know. And I think that boils down to even more specifically goes into your what do they call it? Your sign. Like, you know how they have like some signs, earth signs, fire signs.
Okay,
yeah.
That's a whole nother thing that I don't understand, though.
I don't either. Like,
I'm not going to get too much into that because I'm not really too.
So it sounds like you are the most intellectual with this topic. Is that you probably know the most.
Oh, stop
Him and I are like, you know what? No, like I believe in science. You leave me alone. I want some evidence or get out. And you're more of like, wait, guys.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm not scientific at all, but I believe in.
It sounds like you just know more about the topic.
Yeah, I don't know. I just believe in trying to look at everything from all angles, not just one. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm an astrologer now, like a scientist, or I'm not going to be like, oh, I just believe in science fact. Like, no, that's not true. I think my mind is open to all possibilities and looking at it from all aspects.
So here's a question. Does it bother you when signs are brought up as a defense? Like, I'm sorry, I was a bitch.
Yeah.
I'm a Gemini.
Yeah, definitely. I think just because I don't think people should use that as an excuse. I think some people don't even know, because I see it myself, just knowing, because like I said, I used to be really into the, looking this stuff up, and because I used to study it, and I went to see if it was true myself. I went to, I could kind of conduct my own personal experiments. So I would know what people's signs were, and then I would watch how they act, because I'm a very observant person. You guys, I like people watch. Like, I'm a very observant person. Like,
You are.
Yeah.
You are.
So so what I would do is I would read these horoscopes and see how these people would act, or, even if I didn't know how they act, I would see how they act, and I would go look and see like what their sign was, and I would watch like certain people, like, okay, can see if there's like consistent balance of how people who are Geminis act, or, Aquarius, Taurus. I want to see if there's some truth behind it, and that's pretty much how
I can honestly say, based on like different things I've read, different horoscopes, different conversations I've had, like, absolutely, I'm definitely a Gemini. Like, and for the outside world, maybe not personally, I don't feel like I'm a Gemini. Maybe I understand that the thought process from the outside of my own perspective is that I'm a Gemini. For me, I'm just very quiet. So I'll let things fester. And so it may look like I have two different personalities, because I'm trying to be polite. I'm trying to take an easier road. And then finally there's an end point with me as an individual. Like, once I've had enough, I've had enough. So I'm going to pop off. So it looks like, from an outside perspective, there might be two personalities going on there. But for me, no, I've let that fester for 3 months, and now I'm done with it. And for me, I look at it like, you get what you give. I've given you the opportunity time and time again. Now you want to be an asshole? Let's be an asshole. Let's go. And so, like, that's how my personality just naturally is. So I agree with my astrology sign that there's two personalities. I'm very nice, very generous, very patient, until I'm not. And then there's no communication in between that too. So I understand why I'm labeled as that. I don't agree that it's the astrology sign. I just think that that's just the way I handle things.
Okay. So, what do you guys are? So there's something called a life number. All right. I don't know if you guys.
I've never heard of that. Ever.
Never. Never. Okay. So, basically, I'll pull this up. I'll read it to you guys. How you get your life number.
Wait, what is it?
Your life path number. Okay, so I'll explain it. So, okay, so this number, I'm reading verbatim. This number is derived from your birthday and indicates your ultimate life's purpose. Knowing your life path number gives you solid direction about what you're meant to be doing in your life. So, and obviously that's derived from your birthday and all that. I guess that has something to do with your sign or whatever. But I'm not going to even get into the math. So one of my homegirls sent this to me, and I read it, and I felt I agreed with it. Like, I felt like it was spot on, only because that's already how I view myself, how I see myself. So it said, one of the questions it asked is like, have you ever noticed that people are drawn to you almost as if you're a magnet? And I mean, not bragging or anything, but I do notice that. I do notice that. Like,
you are. I mean, I've known you for a very long time. You are you were like that, and I also have my friend Richardson. You guys know the one that's the German, whatever. He's like that too. Yeah, Daniel Richardson. I don't know what to tell you about the one that I was telling you we need to go see in Germany.
Okay, yeah.
So he's just like you. Like, people are just drawn to him. Like, some people are just like that. Like, you like that, and he's like that. Like,
I definitely felt a draw towards you, and like, I still feel that draw towards you. Like, in this group chat, like, I do find myself stopping a direct joke or message or meme that I could share with you, just out of my own insecurities. It's nothing that you've done personally. It's more of just like, does this guy think I'm okay or not? Is it okay to do that? Like, and so like even commenting on some of your photos, like your photos of you hiking and stuff throughout, the West. Like I think it's beautiful. Like I've done that too. I was just not as aware to take photos. So like watching this stuff, I'm like, wow. Like, and I find myself starting a comment and then deleting that comment based on my own insecurities, but it is a pull to want to be a part of your life, to seek your approval, to seek your insight, to seek your presence. It is a pull. And I think like Carl and I had talked about that probably years ago, whenever we first met. And I imagine that being just something that is just a natural thing to you. I think that you are a very warm presence, and everyone else's issues get in the way of that presence if there's an issue.
So, well, thank you for the compliment, by the way.
Oh, who said it was a compliment? Excuse me.
But yeah, so I read this, and basically, I mean, the title, it said The Nurturer. And I've always kind of seen myself as I've always believed and would like my friends to believe, well, family, people, you guys are closer than friends, you guys are family, but I'd always like them to believe and know that if there is ever an issue, that they can rely on me and they can call me, even if it's something that they feel insecure about or self-conscious or they're too prideful. I'd like them to believe that, yeah, hey, I know I can hit up Kelly and he won't mention this ever again. He'll just help me out if he can, and that'd be that. You know what I'm saying? So the title was The Nurturer. For this, I guess my life path number is a 6, and yeah, and it's The Nurturer. So that kind of stuck. That already drew me in, and I started reading, and
I definitely agree with it.
It was kind of, so like people that believe in astrology would say it was spot on. You know what I'm saying? Like deriving from like how I feel about myself. That's how I feel like it was spot on. Because I do believe.
Were you surprised that it was spot on? Like, were you like, wait a minute, this might hold some ground? Or
I was not. Yeah. I was surprised, and I stopped reading after like maybe 2 or 3 paragraphs because I was like, this is what draws people, and this is why people, you can say, are so strong about astrology, because of stuff like this.
So when you read your base horoscope with your characteristics, does it not say that you're that type of person, or what kind of person does it say you are?
I've never done it. I've never.
So look it up look it up right now. Look up your horoscope characteristics, your sign.
So Aquarius.
Hey, while he looks that up, I'm gonna take a break real quick. I think my dog got trapped in the bedroom. I gotta let her out. He's in his bedroom. That's the bedroom, not this door. It's just the opposite door.
Tell Patrick to go check on me. Do some work.
Listen, man, it's his only day off. I'm not going to burden this man.
Okay, so I found it. It's quick.
What was that spot where you took the test?
The life path number, joint?
Yeah.
I'll send you the link. It's going to be my life path number, but you can plug in your own number. Or plug in your birth date and it'll find it for you. It's long though, dude. I didn't read the whole thing, but it was to me, it was very accurate.
So what do you type in? Is it a test you take or something?
No, you just type in your birthday and it does the math for you, like how do you calculate your life path number, and then it gives you the synopsis of your life path number.
All right. Did they pay for this? Your life path number.
No, you don't have to pay for it.
Damn, gotta scroll all the way back there. The years are good. Wow, that's crazy. My life path number is 4, and that's actually my favorite number. That's weird.
That is weird. That is your favorite number. I know that. So, Gabby, I pulled up what Carl told me to pull up. My zodiac sign / horoscope. All right, so obviously air element. Well, actually, no, that's not obvious because I thought it was water. But
I thought it was water, so.
Says my lucky numbers are 4, 7, 11, 22, and 29. None of those numbers which I like. So incorrect. Says my strengths: progressive, original, independent, humanitarian, which I mean, I believe I can agree on. Weaknesses: runs from emotional expression, temperamental, uncompromising, aloof. I agree with the majority of those, except for uncompromising. I do believe I compromise very well. Aquarius likes fun with friends, helping others, fighting for causes, intellectual conversation, and a good listener. Mm-hmm. And dislikes are limitations, broken promises, being lonely, dull or boring situations, and people who disagree with them. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that as well. I mean, but that's what I mean. Like some of those things, I can guarantee you if I go to another horoscope site, it's going to tell me something different. You know what I'm saying? They might have a couple of the same.
I have the same problem, man. Like, I mean, I've read things that are like 85% head on. I absolutely agree with this. And then there's other things where I'm like, no, that is not who I am. I do the exact opposite. I despise people that are this way, and I actively pursue for myself to be better than that. So like, I agree with that to every extent. Like, and like, I've gone to other sides where like, you know, they said my weaknesses were my strengths. And I'm like, no, those are definitely my strengths. And like, no, like, it's hard for me. But like taking that test, it was for work. Like that's the purpose of that test, is to figure out the best place for you to be in your field. And for Alex, you know, she's a nurse. And so she had taken that test, and she needed that high adrenaline. She's a very A-type personality. She needed that control of her environment. Even when it's out of control, you're the one that's put responsible for that environment. And so like, when she took that test, I took it. I had Googled it, and her and I were not supposed to get along in any way in the event that we were uncompromising. However, we both are compromising. We both share those traits. And so now that, you know, I think maturity has a lot to do with these whole like descriptions of your sign and your like personality traits. I think your maturity level really plays a part into that. And so that's another knock against astrology for me. It's that maturity level is not taken into account when these things are given out to people. Right. And so I think that at 16, I've always been a Gemini. At 31, I'm definitely not the same Gemini I was at 16. Definitely. And so I think there's just too many missing factors might be my issues.
They add a little bit more science behind it. I'm all for it.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So, Carl, so you read your life path number. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think I definitely I guess I see where it's coming from. I agree with some of it. Not 100%. It's kind of, I think it kind of coincides with what it says about Virgos, but it says I'm a teacher. So it says, this is just one of the paragraphs that it has. It says, you're a born teacher. You may not become a teacher in the traditional sense, yet you demonstrate an undeniable depth of knowledge and just can't help sharing what you know with others. And just pretty much keeps going on about just saying like pretty much I have like a thirst for knowledge, and once I find it, it's something that interests me. There's no length of there's no depth I won't go to figure out, you know, and look into it and dive into it and then share with others.
I feel like that's actually pretty spot on with you.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah.
Well, like the only part I disagree with is the like I don't think that you
come on, let it out.
I don't think you actively search to teach people. I think that it's reversed. People just naturally get pulled to you to learn. And so, like, I don't think that you're out trying to make a point or give anybody any kind of education. I think that you're really just out there and you are unwavering in your personal beliefs, your personal preference. In certain aspects, you're wavering in other ways. And I think that people view those two like capabilities happening at the same time, and then feel the need to get involved to teach you or to learn from you. I don't think that you're an active teacher. No, I think that you're a very calm presence. You yourself, like, you are very, very calm, and you bring that with you to any environment. And because of that calmness, it forces people to want to get to know more about what makes you that way.
Yeah. I definitely could see that too. I definitely agree with that. I agree with it in the sense of like, but how my personality is too, or like, I guess my characteristics, I'm not, like I said, like I'm not open with a lot of people. So my circle is small. So if it's something that I like, that I feel like this knowledge that needs to be shared or like want to be discussed, like it's going to be with like Kelly, you, or people that are close. I'm not the type of person that's going to be like, hey, like come over here and learn this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very like, if you want to know, if you want to talk about it, then I'm all for it. You know what I mean? And actually, my instructor in tech school, he actually told me the same thing, that it was weird. It was like really inspiring, maybe kind of take a step back and look. And then he actually passed away, so rest in peace. He was a great instructor. He was a great man. Because at the end of our course, he sits down with us and he does like a one-on-one evaluation kind of things, and just just tells us. And he was just like, he's like, I think you're gonna come back here one day and be an instructor. I was like, what? No. He's like, I'm serious. Like, I think you're gonna be an instructor. He's like, I don't even know. He's like, I don't think you even notice how you are with everybody else, and like in showing them things and teaching them things. Like, I don't know if you do it on purpose or what. He's like, but I think you just do it. He's like, I don't think you see that you're doing it. And he's just like, because you're very like, he's like, you're very patient in teaching others what you know and stuff. So when he said, I was just like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, because like we're all one
You're
team.
a humble man. You're a humble man.
Nah, like I never really thought about it. I just, my thing is like, why not help someone? That's my thing. Like, so I don't really.
I agree with that. Yeah.
So like, I'm not really like about like, oh, I'm gonna be a teacher and stuff. It's just like, my aspect is just like, everybody should be like that. Like, why isn't everyone doing that? Like, if you know something, it will help the next person, and because eventually helping the other person is going to help you. You know what I mean? So it's like, why not share that knowledge?
I agree with that.
Wow.
Look at that. You made them all warm and fuzzy inside. Look at that.
Well, that's actually right on time. So, I mean, as you guys can see, me and Gabby were still kind of iffy about astrology.
Yeah, you guys are very
skeptical.
Yeah,
that's the word. Perfect word. We're very skeptical. I mean,
you guys are very literal in the sense you're very literal people.
Absolutely.
And I am too, to a degree, but I think my mind is more open than yours too. You. Oh, another special guest.
Yeah, she just woke up. She's trying to go to work.
So, yeah, like I was saying, me and Gabby were more leaning against. I mean, we're open-minded as to, I mean, if you can prove, hey.
Man, you got a whole guest list over there, jeez.
If you can prove to us scientifically, if you can prove why this and that is said about this and that sign, then, I mean, we're open-minded, we will understand. Otherwise, it's kind of just.
But science.
You gotta work for it. You gotta work for it with me and Kelly.
But I think that comes into a whole different discussion of like belief and faith, because everything can't be explained.
Right. But I mean, that's, like I said, it was like right on time. So we're each gonna give you guys our Facebooks and our Instagrams. If you guys like the podcast, let us know. if you guys have a topic that you'd like us to discuss that you feel hasn't been discussed, or you'd like to hear us, what our thoughts are about it, just let us know. You know what I'm saying? Message us, text us, email us, whatever you need. So me, obviously, I'm Kelly Pierre Lewis on Facebook. It's hyphenated. And on Instagram, it's Lely Care Lewis. So, I mean, or you could just type in Kelly Pierre Lewis, you'll find it because my name's on there. Yeah, you guys go ahead.
Just Anthony Hughes on Facebook. Regular spelling.
For me, like, I'm definitely special. I'm Sam Gabby on my Facebook. I am Justice Beaver on my Instagram. It's a joke for Office fans. I didn't realize till after I made that handle how horrible that handle sounded. But it's a joke from The Office, so Office fans should know what that's from. But yeah, absolutely. Hit us up. Let us know what you want to talk about. I think that the three of us have spent almost 8 years getting to know each other, talking and just spreading ideas between the three of us. And the three of us, 9 times out of 10, have different ideas every time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So we're gonna try and do this. Well, we are going to do this weekly. So yeah, every Sunday we'll try and post another video on a certain topic.
Absolutely. So, hit us up.
All right. It's good talking. It was good talk.
Good talk.